Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com. It's been a while since I've done anything with PHP or Laravel, so I'm going to refresh myself by going through a Laravel tutorial. I just installed a new Laravel project, so the first step you want to go to before you go further with this video is install PHP. I'm using PHP 7.4. Install the Composer, which is like the PHP package manager. Install Laravel, and actually test running a new project, okay? I always find like the initial install of Laravel oftentimes requires some troubleshooting and some stack overflowing to get it up and running, just because if you're not doing PHP all the time, it may not be as obvious, like all these different changes you need to make to the PHP ini file, other packages you need to install that gives drivers for the particular things you're doing in your project, to get a Laravel project to spin up without error. Okay, so do that first, and then come back to this video if you haven't done that before. Cool. Okay, I'm going to assume you have done that now. And okay, I have a new project, so let's take a look at this folder here. Okay, so I got all my normal just configuration stuff. Then here are all my folders. So that's all fine and good. So let's head over to the tutorial. Okay, so I guess this is going to be the command to do the dev server. So php artisan serve. Let's try that out. Make sure it's working. Artisan serve. Oh, actually, I should probably cd into the folder. Cd project 1. PHP artisan serve. And again, I've already spun up my Laravel project. So again, that command is Laravel new, then the name of the project, kind of like Rails new or Buffalo new. So whatever framework you're working in, same pattern. PHP artisan serve. Okay, so that's serving on port 8000. So let's take a look. So let's go over here, localhost 8000. Okay, cool. And I have a default page. Okay, next we're going to create a new database for your application. Okay, by running, okay, so they're using MySQL. I have Postgres, so I'm just going to stick with the databases that I have, which is fine. Okay, I'm sure we have to configure the database somewhere. There we go, here we go. So you can open the project folder in your preferred text editor and open the .env file to proper database credentials. Okie dokie. So let's do that. So the .env file. Okay, database. This is going to be PSQL. Okay, localhost. 50. Let me turn off the server for a second. Okay, let me just see here. PSQL. Okay, let me just double check. Laravel. Actually, I want to save these bookmarks. I used Toby for keeping track of my bookmarks. I'm going to add these to the PHP one because these were helpful. Okie dokie. So now what I do want to do though is look up Laravel Postgres settings. I just want to make sure that I'm putting in the right thing for DB. That's all fine. I just want to see pop-ups. PGSQL. So I'm glad I checked. Okay, the other settings I know. Postgres SQL. That makes sense. Oh, I spelled it all wrong. SQL. Okay, localhost 5432. Okay, the database is going to be test1, and the username is test1, and test1. And let me just double check that that's when I got that. PSQL. Okay, slash L. Yep, let's see here. So let's take a look at the test. Yep, test. I do have a test1 database, and I should have a test1 user. So that is fine. Quit out of that. Quit out of Postgres. Okay. Cool. So that should be fine. Let's start that server back up. PHP artisan serve. Okay, so that's doing the thing. Let's go back to the tutorial. And okay, so let's see here. Create the database, that's fine. PHP artisan make model student. Okay, so let's make a model. PHP artisan, so I'm assuming artisan, well, it's the, here we go, paste. And that's going to make our model. Student cannot open input file. Artisan, oh, I should probably be in the project. CV project 1. Try that again. Okay, that created the model. So if I go over to model, that tells me where I made it right here. Database, no. Resources. Public, no, wouldn't be in there. Config, nope. Okie dokie. Bootstrap app, here we go, models. Okay, and there's our student model. Okay, so there we go, we have the namespace, app models. We're gonna use, so here we required some stuff, so we're gonna try the model stuff from Eloquent ORM, that's right, it uses Eloquent ORM, again, been a while. And then this is the class where we're gonna have our thing. Okay, so use has factory, so that's probably building some particular functionality. So let's see here, what do I want to do? We'll have to edit this, specify table, interact. It can be written to, so we will do this, copy. Cool. It didn't have this in there, so I'm going to assume that we don't need this. So we're going to create a table called students, that's fine. Protected, fillable. Okay, so I'm assuming this means, well, these are going to be the name of the fields and that they're fillable, so I'm assuming it assumes text. I have to learn more about Eloquent ORM. Additionally, a migration file will be created in the directed generator table. You'll have to modify the migration file to create a column name. Okay, so let's go take a look at our migration file. So again, that's the model. Again, that's going to create the class or object that we'll use to interface with the database. So it'll connect to the students table and whatnot, but we need a migration file to actually create that table. So let's go to the database. There's migrations. And I'm assuming it's going to be this newest one. And yep, create students table. So right now it creates a table with an ID and timestamp. So we want to add some other tables or some other fields to this table. Control C. I just really want those 2 lines because we already got the student's field name and all that. So that's good for me. Okay, and then we'll migrate. So let's see if migration works out fine. So it's saved. So PHP artisan migrates. What's going to do is going to look through my migration files, run those migration files to the database, which is going to run SQL commands to the database to add and subtract tables and edit tables and whatnot. And that all worked fine. Good. So now we're going to set up the routes. So we have to make a controller. So PHP artisan make controller. So I'll just take that. Okay. So that should probably be, if I go back to app, there should be something called controllers. Nope, not in there apparently. Probably in routes. Nope. Oh wait, we called this API controller. So maybe that's this over here. Make controller API controller created successfully. Resources. Here we go, controllers. API controller. There we go. Okay, so I'm assuming this controller, so here we have a class where we have all these functions that will then attach to routes. Okay, so basically what we'll do is we'll create these functions that'll add to the database, like add a student, subtract a student, that kind of thing. And we'll go from there. So let's take a look. So here we're going to add all these functions. So I'll just, okay, and then that's exactly what I expected. Okay, I'm starting to get used to this pattern after doing it in so many different frameworks. Okay. And then probably here we're going to want to import students. Let me see, does it import students in here? Not yet. Okay, but then we can go add the routes. So since we're making an API, we want to do it in the API controller. And we're going to add these routes, copy. So I'm going to head over to the routes, and then there's the API routes. Okay. Let me just double check that this is where I want to do this. Okay. I'll create the endpoints that will reinforce the methods earlier. All routes API are prefixed with /API by default. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Line these all up and we'll figure out what we're missing here. Expecting closing parenthesis. So let's see here. Students, string, 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 string. Oh, I see there's a missing quotation mark here. And that fixes it. Good. Okay. So that would, yep, because this is the route middleware. Okay. And we're using all these. You're importing the route object here. So we're saying, hey, there's a route here, because this is again, this is the API route. Okay. Create a student record. Let's go to here. So first we got to import student, right? Yeah. So use app student. So that's going to go in the controller. So we have to make sure we bring in the student model so we can actually edit it. And then here we got to add all those functions. So let's do the first one, which is public function create students. So everything between the curly brackets, Control C. We'll examine it. So again, here we're creating a new student. So it's basically a new student to the new student class that was created through our model. And again, that model is connected to our table. Student name. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And then it'll save the results. So it creates a new student, sets the fields, saves it, and then returns a response. Created, JSON. Okay, and it just basically says a message to the student. So it doesn't return the actual student, it just says it was created. That's fine. Okay. And again, just so we can see how it all ties together, let me go back to the routes here. So if I were to go to this post route, see, this is the name of the controller, and then this is the function of that controller. So if I go to here, see the name of that is, oh, that was get all students. That should have been create students. So let me cut that out here. Cut. Oop, oop, cut. The logic to create a student should go here. Okay, so then that endpoint, the post to students, so API/students would trigger that function. Okay, now let's see here, artisan say serve. So I guess we'll test that out, and at that point I think I'll wrap up the video. You guys kind of get where this is going. You would just kind of do the same thing with each route. But let's see here, PHP artisan serve. Unless I already have it serving on the other. I think I do. Yep. Okay, so let's test this out. Postman. So let's create a new tab, and let's do localhost 8000 /API, because an API route, anything that's inside the API PHP. So it's going to start off with /API, the specified students. Okay, and this is going to be a post request to students, according to our controller. And let me just see what the two fields are. Name and course. So we're going to set those up. So in the body, we're going to send raw JSON. And we're going to submit name Alex Merced. Again, this is JSON, so everything gets quotes. And then course. Was it course? Course. We'll say being cool programming dude. That's my course. Okay. Let's see here. We should get like a successful thing. Should we get back? Oh, no, we didn't. I don't think. 404 not found. So let me see here. API student. So I'm going to. So in that case, I didn't find the route. My assumption is that I need to restart the server. That's going to be my first thing to see if it reloads the routes. Do I still have that problem? No, it's definitely not finding the routes. Localhost 8000 API students. Didn't even receive the request. Accepted. 46. So just in case, I will do the whole using the IP address instead. It shouldn't be 127.0.0.1. Just make sure that's. Yep. Let's see if that made any difference. I don't think so. Yeah, because it's giving me the PHP, so it's getting it. But let's see here. Routes. The API routes are here. So let's go back to the tutorial. Oh, they want us to send that as form data. Okay, so let's send the data as form data. Interesting. Okay, name Alex Merced. Course cheese. Steal something. Wasn't configure right. Create students. Yeah, the function exists. And we're bringing in the root, and we're doing the root thing here. So let's see. Let's go back to our proceed to routes directory and open up the API PHP endpoints. All routes in the API are prefixed by /API default. Created default students record. We did that. Yeah, we did all that testing before. Just double check over here. Is there something I'm not seeing? Route post. Actually, I think here's the issue. I think these don't need to be in there. I think that's the issue. I think these should be out here. Like so. Because I think about it, like that's a route called user. Okay, so let's try this again. Control C. Start the server again. Now let's try this again. Cool. Okay, that's fine. Vendor Laravel framework source. Eliminate container PHP online. Why would it think that's there? API controller? No, because API controller is here. Do I need to add that as a import somewhere? Let's go back to where the roots were. API controller. API controller extends controller. And let's go back to api.php, get students API controller, which we have at get create student. And is it called create student? Create student. Yeah, that should be all kind of wired up right. See here. Target class API controller. Seems weird that it's looking in there. So let's see here. Control C. Let's do a search Laravel. Okay, so that's one route. Wait, any fresh install Laravel, there is no namespace prefix being applied to your root groups that your roots are used into. Okay, so use fully qualified name for your controllers when referring to them in your routes. Okay, and if you prefer the old way. Okay, so it just wants me to do this. Okay, so app, HTTP, controllers. So I just have to do this. So let's go back to API PHP. And basically I just have to add this and a slash. So I just copy that. So that way it's referring to specifically. So right now it's looking for the controller in the same folder. Okay, let me close the server. And let's hit send again. Class app student not found in file. Why would it say apps? App HTTP. Class app student. It's not looking for class app student. I think that has something to do with the controller. Oh, I see here. Use app student, but it's not app student. It's app models student. That's why. Because that's where so it's app models student. There we go. Control X. And let's try this again. Yay! Okay, good. That got created. We did it. Okay, we made an endpoint in Laravel. Okay, so looks like there was a change in Laravel in recent versions. So in that case, basically what happened is that before you used to have like different namespaces and you could just kind of just put whatever. So now in the routes, you actually have to kind of put the full path starting with app. So just kind of go back to the routes again. See all the way to the controller. And then again here, you have to make sure that when you bring in the student class here, no, I mean in the controller, let's go back to the controller. And it's an HTTP. That I'm using the right path. So app models control the student, not app student, which is what it said in the tutorial. So again, you know, tutorials have mistakes in them and you have to kind of like work your way around them. But hopefully this was helpful in the sense that you get to see me kind of fumble around, and through that, hopefully those are fumbles you don't have to go through when you start working with Laravel. But yeah, overall, like going into this is again pretty straightforward. And that, you know, creating an API is pretty straightforward here, not bad at all. I see why people like Laravel so much, and I know there's a lot of other cool Laravel features that I'm only scratching the surface of. But just wanted to do this to put it out there. I'll see you guys later. Like the video, like the channel, join the Discord, Slack over there at devnursery.com, and have a great day.